Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Our event will start shortly. Thank you. Chia បឋមមុននឹងឈានដល់ការចាប់ផ្ដើមកម្មវិធីតាំងនាមឲ្យគណៈចាត់តាំងកម្មវិធីនាងខ្ញុំសូមគោរពនិងស្វាគមន៍យ៉ាងកក់ក្ដៅទៅកាន់ឯកឧត្តមលោកជំទាវអ្នកអង្គញាលោកស្រីភ្ញៀវកិត្តិយសជាតិនិងអន្តរជាតិដែលជាតំណាងឲ្យក្រសួងស្ថាប័នពាក់ព័ន្ធដៃគូអភិវឌ្ឍគ្រឹះស្ថានធនាគារគ្រឹះស្ថានមីក្រូហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្រុមហ៊ុនធានារ៉ាប់រងសមាគមក្រុមហ៊ុនបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនិងធុរកិច្ចថ្មីព្រមទាំងសាធារណជនដែលបានចូលរួមនៅទីនេះផ្ទាល់និងទស្សនាការផ្សាយផ្ទាល់តាមរយៈបណ្ដាញសង្គម Facebook និង Telegram ជាទីគោរពមេត្តាជ្រាបថាកម្មវិធីវេទិកាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនៃពិព័រណ៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាឆ្នាំ2022នាល្ងាចថ្ងៃនេះនឹងប្រព្រឹត្តទៅជាភាសាអង់គ្លេស I would like to respectfully invite all excellency distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome His Excellency Wongsai Wisot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance. Please welcome His Excellency. Thank you, all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. A very good afternoon, all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. My name is Ten Yanot, and I am pleased to be your host at this fantastic event this afternoon. Before we proceed to today's agenda, I would like to inform all excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, there are QR codes on either side of the event hall, which you can scan to access the FinTech stage website, where you can also find the agenda for the 3 days event. In case of any attendees encounters any issue with accessing the agenda, please raise your hand and you will be assisted shortly. All excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, kindly be informed that the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 will be live broadcast on the official Facebook page and Telegram channels of the Joe Startup Center and Digital Economy and Business Committee, the cross-sharing post from Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology and Prudential Cambodia. Before the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 officially commences, I would like to inform all excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, of the following instruction. Please kindly put your mobile device on mute for the duration of the event when presented inside the event hall. We appreciate your cooperation. For your information, the theme of the first day of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022 is FinTech's development, consisting of 6 remarks and 3 presentations. On behalf of the organizers of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022, I would like to sincerely thank our main sponsors, including the Advanced Bank of ASR for being our diamond sponsor, Khmer Enterprise for being our platinum sponsor, Prudential Cambodia, SME Bank of Cambodia, Credit Guarantee Corporation of Cambodia, and FWD Life Insurance Cambodia for being our gold sponsor. Before the event officially commences, I would also like to inform all excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, of the event agenda for day 1 as following. The first agenda is the arrival of His Excellency and distinguished guests. The second agenda is the salutation of national anthem. The third agenda is the welcome remarks by Mr. Rami Pell, Chairman of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology. Next is the welcome remarks by Mr. Sok Woon, Chairman of the Cambodia Microfinance Association. Next is the welcome remarks by Mr. Raymond Sia Saiguan, Chairman of the Association of Banks in Cambodia. Next is the collaborative remarks by Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti, Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Cambodia. Following the welcome remarks by His Excellency Ujan Dara, Assistant Governor and the Secretary General of National Bank of Cambodia. Last but not least, the opening remarks by His Excellency Wongsai Wisot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance. The fourth agenda is the group photo session. The fifth agenda, there will be a break session for 30 minutes. The sixth agenda, presentation on ASEAN FinTech development by Mr. Subnendu Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer of the Monetary Authority of Singapore. Next, presentation on Cambodia FinTech landscape by Mr. Thomas Pokorny, Board Secretary General of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology. Last but not least, the final presentation on draft FinTech development in Cambodia by His Excellency Dr. Tang Won Lee, Executive Director of the Cho Startup Center. The seventh agenda is the wrap-up event of the day, 1. FinTech development of CTX 2022. Before starting the event, I would like to respectfully request all excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to stand in honor of the national anthem. Thank you, All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Please be seated. First and foremost, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Rami Pearl, Chairman of Cambodia Association of Finance and Technology, to provide welcome remarks before opening the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. Please welcome Mr. Rami Pearl.
Good afternoon. Oh, okay. A lot of background noise. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our Tech Expo 2022. We are pleased to have you on board this very special journey, and thank you for advance for your time and attention. My name is Remy Pell. I am the chairman of the Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, and I'm honored to be the first to welcome you to this event, which will take up the next 2 days. Now, before I start, please allow me to acknowledge some of our most important participants this year. We are proud to count with the presence of His Excellency Wong Say Misut, Minister attached to the Prime Minister, and Permanent Secretary of State, the Ministry of Economy and Finance. His Excellency U Chandra, Secretary General, National Bank of Cambodia. Mr. Sopindu Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer, Monetary Authority of Singapore. Mr. Raymond Sia, Chairman of the Association of Bank in Cambodia. And Mr. Sok Vuon, Chairman of Cambodia Microfinance Association. And Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti, Chief Executive Officer of the Prudential Life. Your commitment to this expo is essential to push forward our shared agenda. An agenda that has been masterfully crafted and curated for this event by a solid partnership between the Ministry of Economy and Finance, the Digital Economy and Business Committee, the Digital Startup Center, and of course, the Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, better known as CAF. For those of you who don't know very much about our organization, please allow me to give you some brief highlights. CAF was established back in 2019 with its first operational year in 2000. And since then, we have focused on 4 strategic main goals that have been key for our tech development: collaboration, advocacy, facilitation, and teach. On the collaboration front, we have not only curated this event's agenda with our partners, as mentioned earlier, but also we managed to bring in other associations and corporations such as the Association of Banks in Cambodia, the Microfinance Association, Prudential Life Cambodian, and many others with their financial support to make this FinTech stage a reality. Regarding advocacy duties, we aim to continuously grow our role as a conduit between the private sector and the public regulators and institutions. Considering CAF's core membership is made up of payment service institutions licensed under the authority of the National Bank of Cambodia, it is through our PSI committee that we articulate the necessities of our sector and advocate for an effective dialogue with the authorities in search of a positive solutions to those issues affecting us. These great results we have accomplished allowed us to widen our scope and to include in our membership not only PSIs, but many commercial banks, microfinance institutions, solution providers, social enterprises, big data, e-commerce, law firms, ICT, and of course, startups who are making CAF stronger and more effective every day. Finally, as facilitation and teaching, our goals are not only domestic, but also regional and possibly global one too. To this end, I am thrilled to announce that during last week's Singapore FinTech Festival, 7 FinTech associations in the ASEAN region came together to sign an MOU under the branding of ASEAN FinTech Movement. This new network will orient the efforts of like-minded members to focus on 4 main pillars: education, updates on regulatory developments, networking, and promoting ASEAN as a regional powerhouse. These major advancements created a solid platform for which we can project more ambitious aims for the special event, which we must admit it's taking amidst a challenging context. The current global events around the world are setting a scene for a not so rosy future, marked by uncertainty and by frightened disruptions, such as Russia cutting off gas to Europe, food insecurity crisis, or the soaring energy costs in the US. As it has happened with COVID, when the entire world is in crisis, it takes a toll on all of us. Regardless of where we're in the world, these events will cause ripple effects that will trickle down to the ASEAN bloc and ultimately granularly to a small country as Cambodia. Now, in the face of crisis, as humanity, we have always counted on 2 alternatives: being complacent and avoiding harms, or building resilience and awareness to protect our communities, our economies, and the future of prosperity we all strive for. This event is about choosing the latter. It's about stimulating conversations in the backdrop of uncertainty, embracing what we are as a tech community, problem spotters, and consequently, problem fixers. InsurTech, RegTech, EdTech, and of course, FinTechs, we all trust the power of technology to change the world. And we are willing to use this advantage for our communities and global development. This conviction is our strongest weapon. We are determined to use it for our shared goal today, which is financial inclusion. Though immersed in a challenging global context, the current Cambodian outlook is not that discouraging. There are some positive signs that prove that this nation is on track. A 2021 report issued by the United Nations Capital Development Fund, UNCDF, states that Cambodia's financial inclusion is moving forward in the road to meet the target of 2025. The 2019-2025 National Financial Inclusion Strategy, adopted by the National Bank of Cambodia, sets targets to increase the quality formal financial services from 59% of adults in 2015 to 70% in 2025. It also seeks to improve households' welfare and support economic growth. Cambodia has made good progress in expanding formal financial services. Formal financial services rose to 67% in 2021 and therefore is well on track to reach the target of 70% in 2025. This is due to the increase in the banked population from 17% to 30% between 2015 and 2021, and is a rise in those who use other formal financial products from 52% to 63% over the same period. With this promising road ahead at CAFT, we look forward to embrace 2023 with passion and empathy as we continue to focus on our goals and objectives of fostering an environment of higher digital financial inclusion and higher digital financial literacy. This expo is one step ahead in that direction. So once again, I'd like to kindly re-extend my sincere gratitude to the Royal Government of Cambodia for not just allowing, but demanding this event take place alongside the ASEAN Summit as Cambodia wraps up its chairmanship this year. And of course, a very special thank you to our key partners, such as MEF's Digital Economy and Business Committee and Techo Startup Center, as well as key sponsors, ABC, CMA, and Prudential Life Cambodia. We are now ready to start our engines and push the pedal fully down. But as we get ready at the starting line, I'd like to conclude my speech with a quote from American industrialist, business magnate, Ford Motor Company founder, and chief developer of the assembly line technique of mass production, Henry Ford. Mr. Ford has this to say: coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is a success. This quote is telling us the true essence of collaboration. It is my wish that not only we come together, but to ultimately work together to solve life's issues. Thank you.
Thanks to Mr. Rami Paul, Chairman of Cambodian Associations of Finance and Technology, for your meaningful welcome remarks. Next, on the agenda, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Sok Woon, Chairman of the Cambodian Microfinance Association, to provide the welcome remarks. Please welcome Mr. Sok Woon.
So I would like to pay my respect to the High Excellency Wongse Visot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State, Ministry of Economic and Finance, High Excellency U Chandra, the Secretary General, National Bank of Cambodia, Mr. Cheng Van Munden, the CEO of Khmer Enterprise, and Mr. Raymond Pell, Chairman of the Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, as Mr. Raymond Sear, and Chairman of the Association of Banks in Cambodia, and Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti, Chief Executive Officer, Prudential Cambodia. Excellency Neoknya, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. On behalf of the Cambodian Microfinance Associations, it is my great pleasure and honor to participate in the FinTech stage of Cambodian Tech Expo 2022 today. This is not the first event that brings FinTech trends and innovation and strengthen and expand the technology, especially the financial technology within Cambodia. Financial technology has been remarkably expanded in the recent year, especially in the digital payment and transfers. With the tremendous transformations, Cambodia has been catching up with the digitalization effort and financial technology, and the COVID pandemic has played a crucial role to accelerate this trend as many industries has moved to cashless transactions. As we can see nowadays, the adoption of the FinTechs such as food, good delivery app, as well as the general adoption of the e-payment and digital payment within the countries has been launched continuously in order to improve their services as well as the life quality of Cambodian people. Moreover, FinTech utilizations does not only benefit financial institutions to provide the convenient and easy access to serve their client and improve interoperability, but it is also play a significant role in the financial inclusion by leveraging the existing financial ecosystems and emerging technology to make banking simpler, more accessible, and more cost-effective. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, to continue strengthening the fintech sector as well as preventing the spread of COVID-19, last June 2021, the Royal Government of Cambodia launched the Cambodian Digital Economics and Society Policy Framework 2135 to evolve the digital socio-economics environment as well as to pave the way to throwing digital economic. This framework is very important and serve as a guidance for the digital roadmap for Cambodia. Cambodia financial industry under the supervision of the National Bank of Cambodia has been uplifting and ongoing through the critical digital transformations over the last decade. Most noticeably, in the last couple of years, the National Bank of Cambodia has implemented a number of major national interoperability platforms such as Cambodian Share Swift, CSS, which is interconnected all ATM together, fast system, retail pay, and KAQR platform running on the blockchain technology, which allow real-time across banking, fund transfer, payment, and settlements. Additionally, NBC has always been encouraging businesses and consumers to take advantage on this KAQR system to drive financial technology innovations in the banking and financial sector in Cambodia. As the digital products and adoption to the technology growth, knowledge, and cybersecurity, digital literacy and financial literacy has been even more important for consumers in order to help them understand risk, benefit, and also they can better protect it. Moreover, improvement on the infrastructure, cloud computing, data privacy, consumer protection, digital ID, eKYC is extremely important to support the future growth of digital products. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this valuable opportunity to update Your Excellency and honorable guests on the progress of the microfinance sector as the following. By the third quarter of this year, CMA has 124 members, including 5 microfinance deposit-taking institutions, 74 microfinance institutions, 12 leasing companies, and 28 rural credit operators, and 5 banks. Without including data from our bank members, the microfinance sector has provided a total credit over $8 billion to the 2 million households, and the total deposit have reached over 4.6 billion US dollar with 2.6 million depositors, and the tech sector has been employed more than 30,000 staff. Once again, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to all the organizers who have worked so hard to bring this important event to life. And I really hope that this 3D event will allow all participants, especially the financial institutions, to learn more about new trend of fintech, as well as they actively contribute to the growth of this sector in Cambodia. Finally, I would like to respond respectfully with Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, good health and success. Thank you so much.
Thanks to Mr. Sokwon, Chairman of the Cambodia Microfinance Associations, for your meaningful welcome remarks. Next on the agenda, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Raymond Sia Saiguan, Chairman of the Associations of Banks in Cambodia, to provide welcome remarks. Please welcome Mr. Raymond Sia Saiguan.
Good afternoon, His Excellency Wonse Visot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State, Ministry of Economy and Finance, His Excellency U Chandara, Secretary General, National Bank of Cambodia, His Excellency Chen Vanimun, Chief Executive Officer, Khmer Enterprise, Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti, Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Cambodia, Mr. Remy Pell, Chairman of Cambodia Association of Finance and Technology, Mr. Sokwon, Chairman of Cambodia Microfinance Association, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to be here today on behalf of the Association of Banks in Cambodia, or better known as ABC. I would also like to extend my gratitude to all the relevant key stakeholders from National Bank of Cambodia, as well as Ministry of Economy and Finance and the Royal Government of Cambodia for this particular event. I think given the connection to the ASEAN Summit, this year's Cambodia Tech Expo 2022 feels certainly a lot more special, a lot more significant. The Cambodian economy has certainly improved, has actually grown over the past years, and its economic prospect, as I believe each and every one of us here would agree with me, continues to be bright, continues to be strong. There are certainly many contributing factors to this growth and prospect of the Cambodia economy. However, I would say one of the key contributing factors would actually be technology. Technology is certainly a key enabler in the economic development and the economic growth of Cambodia. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, if I may, I would just like to ask all of us here a very simple question. How many of us here has more than 2 mobile banking app or 2 internet banking accounts? Can I just see a show of hands? More than 2. More than 2. Okay, right? And I would presume how many of us here would actually have more than 2 mobile phones? Okay, from the data that we have actually seen, digital technology is certainly very, very much part of our life today. In Cambodia itself, digitization has actually taken its pace at a record level. From the data that we actually have over the past 10 years, from World Bank mobile cellular subscription has actually gone up in Cambodia from 57% in 2010 to 126% in 2020. And that would actually mean that every Cambodian has more than 1 mobile phone, and which, from what I saw earlier, is actually a testament to that. Technology and innovation has certainly improved product design as well as service delivery. Banking, especially, has been vastly influenced with the rise of internet and global instantaneous connectivity. Day-to-day services are now offered through mobile applications, which makes payment, which makes transactions, which makes each and every one of our shopping experience effortless as well as customer-friendly. The financial sector has been one of the key contributors to the digital economy in Cambodia, and we remain committed to further promote the development of FinTech, thus contributing to the government's goal of actually achieving a digitized citizen, digital business, and digital government. In the financial sector, we have seen more than a 10 times fold increase in digital transactions over the past 2 years through payment systems as well as payment providers. Transaction volume has actually increased 5-fold from the data that we have actually seen in ABC. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, in the financial sector, digitization, innovation, technology is centered very much around our customers. At the end of the day, when it comes to banking and finance, it's all about customer and our customer experience. Our industry is people-centric. Financial services is actually a primary need, as well as we need to ensure that we actually reach out to all Cambodians for the success and sustainability of our financial sector as well as the economy. So we continue to see more innovations in the financial sector, with many more banks, many more MFIs producing, launching their own digital products, mobile banking, internet banking. We spoke about Bakong. We also spoke about KHQR. And I certainly believe that all of this will certainly contribute to the success of a digital economy in Cambodia. This direction for the acceleration of innovation is also aligned with the direction of the Royal Government of Cambodia, which has actually been exemplary with the creation of Techo Startup Center. As a banker, I'm certainly very proud to see innovation in our industry. As the chairman and representative of ABC, I'm certainly also very proud to see progression in our industry. I believe Cambodia Tech Expo 2022 will foster stronger collaboration, stronger partnership, and also positive results between all stakeholders. The financial sector is certainly looking forward to a digitized Cambodian economy, which will serve all Cambodians conveniently, securely, and timely. Thank you. Okut.
Thanks to Mr. Raymond C. Saigon, Chairman of the Associations of Banks in Cambodia, for your meaningful welcome remarks. Next on the agenda, I would like to respectfully invite Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti, Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Cambodia, to provide a collaborative remark. Please welcome Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarti.
Thank you. Let me start with my sincere thanks to Your Excellency Wongse Bisot, Your Excellency U Chandara, and Your Excellency Shopnendu Mohanty, who has flown in all the way from Singapore as part of the MAS story. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sanjay Chakrabarti, and I'm the CEO of Prudential Cambodia. It's a tremendous honor and privilege to be standing here representing Prudential and to be launching the CamTech Summit powered by Prudential at the COPIC Convention Center. I firstly would like to thank the organizers of the FinTech stage at Cambodia Tech Expo 2022, Ministry of Economy and Finance, the Digital Economy and Business Committee, Techo Startup, and CAFT, the Cambodia Association of Finance and Technology. This year, the FinTech stage is branded as the first annual Cambodia FinTech Expo that blends with annual CamTech Summit powered by Prudential, of course hosted by CAFT, in order to make the event more impactful than the previous years. The FinTech stage will feature presentations and panel discussions on key topics in the FinTech space for both local and international guest speakers. We will also be looking forward to seeing all of you at the CamTech Summit and CamTech Award organized by CAFT on November 25th, which will feature more Prudential speakers and panelists. Prudential Cambodia has been committed to contributing to the growth of digital space in Cambodia through various initiatives, collaborations, and support. This ongoing support showcases our vision, our belief that combining new technology with traditional financial methods in the delivery of financial services is paramount to ensuring the best products and services are delivered to customers and communities. And to achieve this vision, Prudential Cambodia has been working in collaboration with many relevant stakeholders, many of whom are here in the room today, to ensure this developing technology is properly implemented with best practices and processes. As Cambodia's public and private sectors continue to digitize under the Royal Cambodian Government's Digital Economy and Societal Policy Framework 2021 to 2035, summits such as these are there to allow communication between the stakeholders, which have been very strong. It is vital that policy settings are right so Cambodia's private sector can properly utilize technology and digitalization and allow the country to emerge as a prominent player in the regional economy and achieve its ambitious aim to become a upper middle income economy by 2030 and high income economy by 2050. I hope this year's event can also encourage more investment in Cambodia's digital revolution by showcasing the very best of Cambodian FinTech on the international stage. Prudential, a company that was founded 175 years ago and has been around for 10 years in Cambodia, has been embarking on its own digital journey. We have applied latest technologies such as AI and machine learning to various phases of customer journey. We have markets where we underwrite automatically for selected products so customers don't have to wait to find out if they're insurable. So all of these things with technology and underwriting coming together, it's made this journey extremely rewarding for the company. Utilizing this technology, we have been able to diversify the products. We have got products that cost less than $10 per year. In addition, this year we launched an insurance selling machine. We believe products and services such as these will be instrumental in growing Cambodia's insurance sector in line with government strategic development plan for insurance sector 2021 to 2030, which is aiming to achieve a 5.5% insurance penetration. So again, I would like to thank everyone who's participating in the FinTech stage of Cambodia Tech Expo 2022. I encourage you all to continue the conversations over the next few days. And thank you once again for taking the time. And I hope you enjoy the summit. Thank you all.
Thanks to Mr. Sanjay Chakrabarty, Chief Executive Officer of Prudential Cambodia, for your insightful collaborative remark. Next on the agenda, it is my great pleasure to invite His Excellency Ujandara, the Assistant Governor and the Secretary General of National Bank of Cambodia, to provide welcome remarks. Please welcome His Excellency Ujandara.
Some group and vùng xây dựngរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីប្រតិភូអមយុរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនិងជារដ្ឋលេខាធិការប្រចាំការនៃក្រសួងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុសូមការអនុញ្ញាតធ្វើខ្ញុំបានធ្វើសន្ទរកថាជាភាសាខ្មែរដោយសារតែខ្ញុំបានព្រៀងជាភាសាអង់គ្លេសបាទសូមជិះហើយសូមគ្រប់អាដាមវង្សសីពិសុទ្ធរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីប្រតិភូអមយុរដ្ឋមន្ត្រីនិងជារដ្ឋលេខាធិការប្រចាំការក្រសួងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចហិរញ្ញវត្ថុជាទីគោរពដ៏ពងពោះសូមគ្រប់អាដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនាងកញ្ញាអង្គពិធីទាំងមូលជាទីមន្ត្រីថ្ងៃនេះខ្ញុំមានកិត្តិយសនិងសោមនស្សរីករាយក្រៃលែងដែលបានទទួលការអនុញ្ញាតពីអាដាមបណ្ឌិតជាចន្ទរទេសាភិបាលធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាដើម្បីចូលរួមជាអធិបតីនិងថ្លែងសន្ទរកថាក្នុងវេទិកាស្ដីពីបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដែលរៀបចំដោយគណៈកម្មាធិការសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងទូរកិច្ច Digital នៃក្រសួងសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវេទិកាក្នុងថ្ងៃនេះជាព្រឹត្តិការណ៍ដ៏សំខាន់ដែលរៀបចំឡើងដោយនៅក្នុងពិព័រណ៍បច្ចេកវិទ្យាកម្ពុជាឆ្នាំ2022ស្របជាមួយនឹងកិច្ចប្រជុំកំពូលអាស៊ានក្នុងគោលបំណងបង្កើនការយល់ដឹងបន្ថែមទៅលើសារៈសំខាន់និងទូនាទីរបស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្នុងការចូលរួមលើកកម្ពស់បរិយាបន្នហិរញ្ញវត្ថុនៅកម្ពុជាខ្ញុំសូមសម្ដែងនៅការស្វាគមន៍យ៉ាងកក់ក្ដៅនិងថ្លែងអំណរគុណយ៉ាងជ្រាលជ្រៅចំពោះអាយដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនិងថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំក្រសួងស្ថាប័នតំណាងគ្រឹះស្ថានធនាគារនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្រុមហ៊ុនបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុទុរជននិវត្ត នវានុវត្តជននិងភាគីពាក់ព័ន្ធដែលឆ្លៀតឱកាសដ៏មានតម្លៃចូលរួមក្នុងឱកាសនេះខ្ញុំជឿជាក់ថាវត្តមានរបស់អាយដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនឹងញ៉ាំងឲ្យវេទិកានេះកាន់តែមានភាពបឡៅរិកនិងទទួលបានផ្លែផ្កាគួរជាទីមោទនៈចាប់តាំងពីឆ្នាំ2020ពិភពលោកបានជួបប្រទះនឹងការរាតត្បាតនៃជំងឺ Covid-19 ដែលធ្វើឲ្យសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសកលប្រឈមនឹងកំណើនអវិជ្ជមានជាលើកទី2បន្ទាប់ពីវិបត្តិហិរញ្ញវត្ថុសកលឆ្នាំ2008-2009ប្រទេសកម្ពុជាក៏រងផលប៉ះពាល់ដ៏តិចតួចបើប្រៀបធៀបជាមួយនឹងប្រទេសនៅក្នុងតំបន់និងពិភពលោកដែលនេះជាលទ្ធផលនៃការយកចិត្តទុកដាក់និងការចាត់វិធានការទប់ស្កាត់យ៉ាងឆាប់រហ័សរបស់រដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាបច្ចុប្បន្នប្រទេសកម្ពុជាក៏ដូចជាបណ្ដាប្រទេសនៅក្នុងពិភពលោកកំពុងស្ថិតនៅក្នុងអន្តរកាលនៃការងើបឡើងវិញចេញពីវិបត្តិសុខភាពស្របពេលនឹងការពុះពៀឈពោះទៅរកនិរន្តរភាពនៃកំណើនសេដ្ឋកិច្ចក៏មានតម្រូវការបរិវត្តកម្ម Digital ទៅនឹងការប្រើប្រាស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុឲ្យស្របទៅនឹងនិន្នាការបច្ចេកវិទ្យាអន្តរជាតិក្នុងយុគសម័យសកលភាវូបនីយកម្ម Digital និងនិន្នាការបដិវត្តឧស្សាហកម្មទី 4.0 បច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបានបោះជំហានយ៉ាងលឿនឲ្យបានក្លាយជាកត្តាគន្លឹះសម្រាប់ជំរុញការគ្របដណ្ដប់និងការតភ្ជាប់បណ្ដាញសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងសង្គមនៅក្នុងកម្រិតប្រទេសតំបន់និងពិភពលោកឲ្យកាន់តែខិតជិតគ្នានិងជំរុញកំណើនឲ្យកាន់តែមានភាពឆាប់រហ័សជាក់ស្ដែងនៅកម្ពុជាយើងសង្កេតឃើញថាបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុបាននឹងកំពុងរីកចម្រើនគួរឲ្យកត់សម្គាល់នាពេលបច្ចុប្បន្នពិសេសនៅក្នុងវិស័យធនាគារនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដែលវិស័យនេះបាននឹងកំពុងស្រូបយកផលប្រយោជន៍ពីការប្រើប្រាស់បច្ចេកវិទ្យាច្រើនជាងគេក្នុងចំណោមវិស័យផ្សេងៗទៅលើការសម្រួលដល់ប្រវត្តិការសម្រាប់ជីវភាពទូទៅរបស់ប្រជាជនក៏ដូចជាប្រវត្តិការធុរកិច្ចពិសេសប្រវត្តិការទូទាត់សងប្រាក់ជាក្នុងឱកាសដ៏ប្រពៃនេះខ្ញុំសូមអនុញ្ញាតជម្រាបជូនអង្គពិធីដោយសង្ខេបអំពីដំណើរការនៃការរៀបអភិវឌ្ឍប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់សងប្រាក់នៅកម្ពុជាប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់សងប្រាក់ជាហេដ្ឋារចនាសម្ព័ន្ធហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដ៏សំខាន់នៅក្នុងការចូលរួមចំណែកអភិវឌ្ឍសេដ្ឋកិច្ចជាតិតាមរយៈការផ្តល់មធ្យោបាយសម្រាប់សម្រួលដល់ការទូទាត់ក្នុងជីវភាពទូទៅរបស់ប្រជាជនក៏ដូចជារាល់សកម្មភាពសេដ្ឋកិច្ចទាំងមូលក្នុងប្រព័ន្ធនិងក្រៅប្រព័ន្ធដោយពិនិត្យឃើញសារៈសំខាន់នៃប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់សងប្រាក់ធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាបានបន្តនិងកំពុងអភិវឌ្ឍដាក់ឲ្យដំណើរការប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់តាមដំណាក់កាលរួមមានប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់ជាតិដែលបានដាក់ដំណើរការនៅឆ្នាំ2012ប្រព័ន្ធសេវាទូទាត់រហ័សនៅឆ្នាំ2016ប្រព័ន្ធធនាគារអនឡាញនៅឆ្នាំ2016ប្រព័ន្ធ NBC Platform នៅឆ្នាំ2017ប្រព័ន្ធ Cambodia Share Switch បានដាក់ដំណើរការជាបឋមនៅឆ្នាំ2017និងនៅឆ្នាំ2020ប្រព័ន្ធបាគងដែលជាប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់កន្លងបានដាក់ឲ្យដំណើរការដោយអភិវឌ្ឍឡើងក្នុងគោលបំណងពង្រឹងសុវត្ថិភាពប្រព័ន្ធទូទាត់ផ្ដល់លទ្ធភាពទូទាត់ឆ្លងគ្រឹះស្ថានលើកកម្ពស់ការទូទាត់ជាប្រាក់រៀលនិងជំរុញបរិយាបន្នហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក៏ដូចជាលើកកម្ពស់ការទូទាត់តាមរយៈ QR code ឲ្យមានលក្ខណៈស្តង់ដារស្របតាមដ៏មានទម្លាប់អន្តរជាតិសិទ្ធិនឹងបរិបទនៃការចម្រើននៃបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុគ្រឹះស្ថានធនាគារនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុទទួលបានឱកាសក្នុងការប្រកួតប្រជែងទាក់ទាញអតិថិជនតាមរយៈការដាក់ឲ្យប្រើប្រាស់នៅសេវានិងឧបករណ៍ទូទាត់ថ្មីប្រកបដោយនវានុវត្តន៍ដែលមានដូចជាសេវាធនាគារតាមអ៊ីនធឺណិតធនាគារចល័តសេវាទូទាត់ចល័តបានទូទាត់ការទូទាត់តាមរយៈ QR code ជាដើមអនុលោមទៅតាមឧត្តមមានវត្តអន្តរជាតិដូចជាបណ្ដាប្រទេសដូចជាបណ្ដាធនាគារអាជ្ញាធររូបិយវត្ថុនិងនិយត្តករចម្បងដទៃទៀតដែរធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាបានដើរតួនាទីជាអាជ្ញាធរគ្រប់គ្រងក្នុងប្រព័ន្ធអេកូឡូស៊ីបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្នុងវិស័យធនាគារដែលមានគោលដៅសម្រាប់ឲ្យបាននៅនវានុវត្តន៍ថ្មីនិងលើកកម្ពស់កិច្ចសហប្រតិការថ្នាក់ជាតិនិងថ្នាក់តំបន់ក្នុងន័យនេះធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាបានអនុម័តដាក់ឲ្យប្រើប្រាស់នៅផែនទីមគ្គុទ្ទេសក៍អភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុកាលពីឆ្នាំ2020កន្លងទៅដើម្បីតម្រង់ទិសឆ្ពោះទៅរកការគ្រប់គ្រងក្របខ័ណ្ឌគោលនយោបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងសង្គម Digital កម្ពុជា ទន្ទឹមនឹងនេះធនាគារជាតិនៃកម្ពុជាក៏ផ្ដោតយកការយកចិត្តទុកដាក់ក្នុងការរៀបចំក្របខ័ណ្ឌត្រួតពិនិត្យបទបញ្ញត្តិនិងយន្តការគ្រប់គ្រងហានិភ័យពង្រឹងប្រព័ន្ធសុវត្ថិភាពប្រឆាំងនឹងឧក្រិដ្ឋកម្មបច្ចេកវិទ្យានិងលើកកម្ពស់ការយល់ដឹងផ្នែកហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដែលគ្រប់គ្រងដល់ការអភិវឌ្ឍបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុដើម្បីធានានៅឲ្យបាននៅសុវត្ថិភាពស្ថិរភាពនិងកាត់បន្ថយហានិភ័យជាអតិបរមាមកលើវិស័យធនាគារនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុទាំងមូលអាដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនាងកញ្ញាជាទីមេត្រីខ្ញុំជឿជាក់ថាអាដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនឹងថ្នាក់ដឹកនាំក្រសួងស្ថាប័នតំណាងគ្រឹះស្ថានធនាគារនិងហិរញ្ញវត្ថុក្រុមហ៊ុនបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុវិជ្ជាជននិងភាគីពាក់ព័ន្ធដែលបានចូលរួមក្នុងវេទិកានេះនិងរួមចំណែកយ៉ាងសកម្មក្នុងការចែករំលែកចំណេះដឹងបទពិសោធន៍និងផ្ដល់ទាត់ចូលដើម្បីជាទុនសម្រាប់យកទៅរៀបចំគោលនយោបាយនានាដើម្បីចូលរួមចំណែកជំរុញនីតិវិធីនិងបច្ចេកវិទ្យាហិរញ្ញវត្ថុប្រកបដោយជំនឿទុកចិត្តសុវត្ថិភាពប្រសិទ្ធភាពស្ថិរភាពនិងបរិយាបន្នសម្ដៅគ្រប់គ្រងគោលនយោបាយអភិវឌ្ឍសេដ្ឋកិច្ចនិងសង្គមឌីជីថលប្រកបដោយនិរន្តរភាពស្របតាមគោលដៅរបស់រាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលកម្ពុជាជាទីបញ្ចប់ខ្ញុំសូមគោរពជូនពរអាដាមលោកជំទាវលោកស្រីនិងអង្គពិធីទាំងមូលសូមមានសុខភាពល្អនិងទទួលបានជ័យជំនះគ្រប់ភារកិច្ចសូមអរគុណ
Thanks to His Excellency Ojandara, Assistant Governor and the Secretary General of National Bank of Cambodia for your insightful welcome remarks. Next on the agenda, it is my great honor to respectfully invite His Excellency Wong Sai Wisot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, to provide opening remarks to officially commence the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. Please welcome His Excellency Wong Sai Wisot.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm very honored on behalf of the Deputy Prime Minister Onpon Monirat, Minister of Economy and Finance and Chairman of the Digital Economy and Business Committee, to preside over and deliver the opening remarks for the FinTech stage, which is a part of the Cambodia Tech Expo 2022, organized on the sideline of the 40th and 41st ASEAN Summit and related summit hosted by Cambodia this year in Phnom Penh. On this occasion, I would like to extend my warm welcome and gratitude to Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen from relevant government ministries, development partners, banks, microfinance institutions, insurance companies, association, fintech company, startup, and others who have participated physically here or through the live streams on the official Facebook page and Telegram channels. This forum indeed aims to support and foster the digital economy and fintech development in Cambodia through discussion on the challenges and opportunities of the Cambodia fintech ecosystem. In addition, through this dialogue, it also seeks to gather from relevant stakeholders and experts valuable inputs for drafting Cambodia fintech development policy, which is now underway. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in the era of digital globalization, digital technology are advancing at a rapid pace and thereby become a crucial factor in fostering the coverage and connectivity of economies and societies around the globe, making them more cohesive, connected, and interdependent with one another. On this basis, we can observe that digital technology has played a key role in almost every sectors such as industry, services, agriculture, finance, and of course, in our daily life. During COVID-19 pandemic, digital technology, especially financial technology, in short FinTech, have been observed as a high potential driver in promoting economic growth regionally, globally, through four significant roles, namely, first, increasing competition and the efficiency of financial service provision. Second, creating new market segments and reinforcing existing markets. Third, enhancing financial inclusion through various easy-to-use digital platforms. And fourth, reinforcing and expanding the ecosystem of micro, small, and medium enterprises and startups. Many countries around the globe, including ASEAN member states, have witnessed a remarkable growth in the number of internet users, online purchaser, and investment in fintech company within the last few years. All these factors reflect the enormous potential of fintech as well as the opportunities to continue to develop this space. As for Cambodia, we have experienced firsthand the effect of fintech in transforming the entire financial industry, in providing and accessing financial services. Moreover, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the use of fintech has contributed to the continuation of several important economic activity, including business investment and as well as people-to-people transaction. The emergence of new digital technologies such as blockchain or distributed ledger in the financial sector has greatly transformed the means to regulate the financial sector. This transformation refers to the loss of the role of the intermediary in financial transaction due to the fact that transaction can be done directly between one person to another, otherwise known as peer-to-peer transaction. This new sector, called the decentralized finance, covers digital asset, non-fungible token, etc., which is now gaining attention in the last few years. And I just want to iterate that our government has paid or attached high or priority to develop this non-traditional financial system, which we believe would boost the new economy, because new digital economy, as well as expanding the space and access for our small, medium enterprise to other necessary, either finance, technology, or market. With the last decade, Cambodia's financial industry has undergone accelerated growth, which has in turn contributed significantly to economic growth, especially through promoting financial inclusion in both urban and rural areas. Holistically reflected through the remarkable increase in the number of banking institutions, microfinance institutions, and payment services. Notably, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, electronic payment system use in Cambodia has continued to increase. According to National Bank of Cambodia, in 2021, these were 698 million transactions and valued at almost $200 billion. Concurrently, the subsectors under the non-banking sector have been gradually developing and have a high potential to boost the national economic growth. In this regard, the establishment of the Non-Banking Financial Services Authority is aimed to determine a clear and straightforward institutional mechanism in spearheading the development of this sector. For instance, we look at the insurance sector in the most recent period. The insurance market in Cambodia is evolving at a remarkable rapid pace, with a growth to $300 million in 2021 as an insurance premium. And 40 insurance companies currently operating in the market with the estimated current asset value at $845 million. And in addition, the insurance sector has contributed to 1.1% towards the economy with assurance density of 18.75 US dollar per capita in 2021. The unprecedented increase in transaction in the banking sector and the growth in insurance sector has clearly indicated that any financial institution that are fast to adapt and use fintech will not only transform challenges into new opportunities, but also at the same time solidify their position as leaders in the new respective industry or market as their services become more capable and efficient in solving existing bottlenecks and distortion. I wholeheartedly hope to see this come reality. After all, the ultimate goal in this collective endeavor, at least from my point of view, is to extract maximum benefit from emerging technologies to promote and accelerate the digital economy's development. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, the government of the Kingdom of Cambodia follows closely this burgeoning rise of the fintech industry, as well as its implication on the future of our society, and hereby take a necessary and proactive step to capitalize on this revolution. In this regard, I'm pleased to inform you that we are currently preparing the draft of Cambodia FinTech Development Policy in order to establish a common framework for the fintech sector and to contribute to addressing the various shortcomings in accelerating fintech development, with the Digital Economy and Business Committee as responsible institution for facilitating the drafting of this policy. Conceptually, this policy would stand on three core principles. First, promoting financial inclusion. Second, ensuring financial stability. And third, nurturing financial innovation. Furthermore, this policy would be also based on a concept of extracting the maximum benefit from digital technology and mitigating the negative impact of this technology on Cambodia. As we began on our work on drafting the fintech policy, this fintech stage is therefore being held at a crucial junction. At its core, it will provide a platform for leaders, policymakers, and implementers in public and private sector, academics at all levels to come together, converse, and exchange views, knowledge, and experiences to answer emerging trends of the fintech development, especially against the backdrop of the multiple crises that are looming on our globe, our region, and of course, our country. With that in mind, I firmly believe that this fintech stage will proceed smoothly and achieve the expected result, as well as provide valuable input for our work on crafting the fintech policy that I just mentioned earlier. In conclusion, I would like to commend and extend my appreciation towards the management and organizing teams who have put in immense efforts to make this forum possible today. I wish this fintech stage to proceed productively and achieve the desired result, outcome, and to wish Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the best of luck and successes in all aspects of life and your future endeavors. Thank you very much, and may I now announce the official opening of the FinTech Stage 2022. Thank you.
Thanks to His Excellency Wongsa Visot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, for providing a very informative and insightful opening remarks with regards to the development, roles, and potentials of fintechs in Cambodia financial industries. In this agenda, I would like to respectfully invite His Excellency Wongsa Visot and other Excellencies, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, and distinguished guests on the stage to please kindly stand up for a group photos on the stage. Thank you. I will be counting for you. 1, 2, 3. Another photo, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Next, I would like to respectfully invite His Excellency Wongsai Wisot and others Excellency, Chairman and Chief Executive Officers, and distinguished guests on the stage to kindly join our participant down the stage for another group photo. Thank you. Yeah. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please kindly stand up. I will be counting for you. 1, 2, 3. Another photo, please. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. On behalf of the organizers of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022, I would like to sincerely thank His Excellency Wongsai Wisot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economics and Finance for giving us the honor to give opening remarks of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. In the meantime, His Excellency Wongsai Wisot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance, has returned after giving the opening remarks for the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. Thank you, All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform you that now our event will take a 30-minute break. Please enjoy seeing the booth outside of the event hall. We also have the refreshment area in front of the startup stage where you can purchase coffee and other refreshment. The event will resume in the next 30 minutes. Thank you so much and please enjoy.
យើងជាចំនួនថ្មីនៃអ្នកបង្កើតយើងជំរុញឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែមានភាពជឿនលឿនយើងបង្កើតគំនិតថ្មីយើងច្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មីយើងបង្កើតនៅអ្វីដែលធ្វើជីវិតកាន់តែងាយស្រួលយើងហាត់ប្រាណព្រោះសុខភាពជាទ្រព្យមិនអាចកាត់ថ្លៃបានប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនធ្វើតែម្នាក់ឯងនោះទេព្រោះពេលយើងរួបរวมគ្នាយើងធ្វើបានកាន់តែល្អយើងបរិភោគអាហារដែលមានជីវជាតិសម្រាប់រាងកាយពីព្រោះការការពារប្រសើរជាងការព្យាបាលយើងរៀបចំផែនការហិរញ្ញវត្ថុព្រោះការគិតទុកជាមុនធ្វើឲ្យអនាគតមានភាពច្បាស់លាស់យើងធ្វើអំពើល្អដើម្បីឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែបវរយើងបង្កើតក្តីស្រឡាញ់យើងផ្ដល់តម្លៃឲ្យគ្រួសារយើងបង្កើតសុភមង្គលសម្រាប់ជីវិតយើងជាចំនួនថ្មីនៃអ្នកបង្កើតយើងជំរុញឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែមានភាពជឿនលឿនយើងបង្កើតគំនិតថ្មីយើងច្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មី យើងបង្កើតនៅអ្វីដែលធ្វើជីវិតកាន់តែងាយស្រួលយើងហាត់ប្រាណព្រោះសុខភាពជាទ្រព្យម្នាស់កាត់ថ្លៃបានប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនធ្វើតែម្នាក់ឯងនោះទេព្រោះពេលយើងរួបរวมគ្នាយើងធ្វើបានកាន់តែល្អយើងបរិភោគអាហារដែលមានជីវជាតិសម្រាប់រាងកាយពីព្រោះការការពារប្រសើរជាងការព្យាបាលយើងរៀបចំផែនការហិរញ្ញវត្ថុព្រោះការគិតទុកជាមុនធ្វើឲ្យអនាគតមានភាពច្បាស់លាស់យើងធ្វើអំពើល្អដើម្បីឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែបវរយើងបង្កើតក្តីស្រឡាញ់យើងផ្ដល់តម្លៃឲ្យគ្រួសារយើងបង្កើតសុភមង្គលសម្រាប់ជីវិតយើងជាចំនួនថ្មីនៃអ្នកបង្កើតយើងជំរុញឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែមានភាពជឿនលឿនយើងបង្កើតគំនិតថ្មីយើងច្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មីយើងបង្កើតនៅអ្វីដែលធ្វើជីវិតកាន់តែងាយស្រួលយើងហាត់ប្រាណព្រោះសុខភាពជាទ្រព្យម្នាស់កាត់ថ្លៃបានប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនធ្វើតែម្នាក់ឯងនោះទេព្រោះពេលយើងរួបរวมគ្នាយើងធ្វើបានកាន់តែល្អ យើងបរិភោគអាហារដែលមានជីវជាតិសម្រាប់រាងកាយពីព្រោះការការពារប្រសើរជាងការព្យាបាលយើងរៀបចំផែនការហិរញ្ញវត្ថុព្រោះការគិតទុកជាមុនធ្វើឲ្យអនាគតមានភាពច្បាស់លាស់យើងធ្វើអំពើល្អដើម្បីឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែបវរយើងបង្កើតក្តីស្រឡាញ់យើងផ្ដល់តម្លៃឲ្យគ្រួសារយើងបង្កើតសុភមង្គលសម្រាប់ជីវិតយើងជាចំនួនថ្មីនៃអ្នកបង្កើតយើងជំរុញឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែមានភាពជឿនលឿនយើងបង្កើតគំនិតថ្មីយើងច្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មីយើងបង្កើតនៅអ្វីដែលធ្វើជីវិតកាន់តែងាយស្រួលយើងហាត់ប្រាណព្រោះសុខភាពជាទ្រព្យមិនអាចកាត់ថ្លៃបានប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនធ្វើតែម្នាក់ឯងនោះទេព្រោះពេលយើងរួបរวมគ្នាយើងធ្វើបានកាន់តែល្អយើងបរិភោគអាហារដែលមានជីវជាតិសម្រាប់រាងកាយពីព្រោះការការពារប្រសើរជាងការព្យាបាលយើងរៀបចំផែនការហិរញ្ញវត្ថុព្រោះការគិតទុកជាមុនធ្វើឲ្យអនាគតមានភាពច្បាស់លាស់យើងធ្វើអំពើល្អដើម្បីឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែបវរ យើងបង្កើតដីស្រឡាញ់យើងផ្ដល់តម្លៃឲ្យគ្រួសារយើងបង្កើតសុភមង្គលសម្រាប់ជីវិតយើងជាចំនួនថ្មីនៃអ្នកបង្កើតយើងជំរុញឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែមានភាពជឿនលឿនយើងបង្កើតគំនិតថ្មីយើងច្នៃប្រឌិតថ្មីយើងបង្កើតនូវអ្វីដែលធ្វើជីវិតកាន់តែងាយស្រួលយើងហាត់ប្រាណព្រោះសុខភាពជាទ្រព្យមិនអាចកាត់ថ្លៃបានប៉ុន្តែយើងមិនធ្វើតែម្នាក់ឯងនោះទេព្រោះពេលយើងរួបរวมគ្នាយើងធ្វើបានកាន់តែល្អយើងបរិភោគអាហារដែលមានជីវជាតិសម្រាប់រាងកាយពីព្រោះការការពារប្រសើរជាងការព្យាបាលយើងរៀបចំផែនការហិរញ្ញវត្ថុព្រោះការគិតទុកជាមុនធ្វើឲ្យអនាគតមានភាពច្បាស់លាស់យើងធ្វើអំពើល្អដើម្បីឲ្យពិភពលោកកាន់តែបវរយើងបង្កើតដីស្រឡាញ់យើងផ្ដល់តម្លៃឲ្យគ្រួសារយើងបង្កើតសុភមង្គលសម្រាប់ជីវិត
A very good afternoon. Once again, I am Tanya Nut. On behalf of the organizers of the FinTech stage of CTX 2022, I would like to welcome and greet Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The FinTech stage aims to support and foster the digital economy and FinTech's development in Cambodia by mobilizing national and foreign regulators, private enterprise, and relevant stakeholders to connect, better understand FinTech trends and innovations, as well as talk through opportunities and challenges with the purpose to strengthen and expand Cambodia FinTech's ecosystem, take full advantage of the innovation, as well as adapt and prepare for the dynamic development of fintechs in Cambodia. The fintech stage also aims to gather more input for drafting a concise, flexible Cambodia's fintech development policy. Combining with the annual CamTech Summit powered by Prudential Cambodia, the FinTech stage will be Cambodia's first ever annual FinTech Expo attended by senior officials and executives from the Ministry of Economy and Finance, Digital Economy and Business Committee, National Bank of Cambodia, the Joint Startup Center, Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, banks, microfinance institutions, university, research institution, development partners, as well as other relevant associations and private enterprise. Without further ado, it is my pleasure to welcome our first honorable speaker, Mr. Sobnendu Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, to deliver his presentation on ASEAN FinTech development. All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Sobnendu Mohanty.
Hello. Hello. Good afternoon, everybody, and it's my pleasure to be here in Cambodia to talk about the state of fintech in ASEAN market. Today, in the session before that, is for me, such a pleasure to hear that finally fintech is getting a recognition in many markets where they used to struggle to get that identification as a key force of the change. So I thought of sharing today with you some of the uh, evolving trend in the fintech market, especially if you're a country like Cambodia, if you want to pick up this particular fintech as a serious opportunity for the country, what are the things you're going to look at as things unfold? And today morning, I think today afternoon, there was a discussion around the crisis. We just got a new term called polycrisis. The global crisis has created multiple side conflict, which is causing an either opportunity or a challenge for the industry, especially the fintech industry. And if you are invested on the crypto industry, you could have very well understood what is happening in the market as we speak. There's a massive correction happening in the crypto space. But I'm not going to talk about crypto today. I'm going to talk about fintech in a broad sense, but I will give a reference to the crypto market also if you are interested in this space. But before we go to the key points I want to share with you, let me share with you some of the numbers what we see in the ASEAN market. Now, this is the last quarter, last the half of the 2022 number. You see that the key metrics out there is to see the ASEAN numbers has grown compared to every region. While the number is 7% growth, but it's a good signal that despite the global crisis, ASEAN markets are doing extremely well in a relative term in the fintech industry, broadly speaking. Now, that number may not be that big, but it is a great signal of how the progress is kicking off. Now, if you look at the number itself, if you break down the ASEAN number, if you look at the red color, that block, and it shows that it has grown relatively bigger than the previous year. What it means, the industry in ASEAN markets are getting more mature. Means that the kind of money is following mature companies in this place, which shows that the industry in ASEAN, especially the fintech industry, has picked up a very strong late-stage capital injection, which is a great news for the ASEAN market because it shows the maturity is picking up. And within that industry, you see a significant allocation of money on the payment industry. Well, this is a good news in one sense. It can be a bad news as you look at the future. I'll share with you why I think this is a bad news. If you have a disproportionate allocation of payment fintech in a particular broader fintech ecosystem. And the significant information from this chart is the number of fintechs attracting global fund has gone down, but the value has gone up, which means more mature companies are attracting better capital. So the big message in this slide is that if you stay on for long, your ability to draw international capital to the industry will get better and bigger. And why? Because ASEAN continues to be the biggest growth market for fintech, primarily driven by the young demographics we have today. And if you look at all the ASEAN countries, you look at the age group, which is between 20 and 34. That's the most attractive market for fintech because fintechs are targeting young, mobile, upmarket customers who are between the age of 20 and 34. That's the segment you are going after. And ASEAN has the biggest percentage distribution of the most attractive market for fintech. So that is the reason why a lot of global investors are particularly interested in the ASEAN market because of this wonderful opportunity this market presents. Now, I'm not going to share with you any more numbers. I'm going to have next two slides, which will be the bulk of my speech today. And this is where I'm going to spend a lot of time. I was asked to talk about, is there any blind spot in the market? Is there any risk in the market? Is there any challenges in the market if you are a fintech player? Of course, every market, despite the growth, will have some significant challenge. But I have listed for you 5 blind spots. And this is important because if you are truly interested in this space, the first thing you have to worry about funding. Significant headwind. Global funding to fintech has dropped by 37 to 40%. So if you are a new fintech, if you are a upcoming fintech, your access to capital is a serious challenge today. But that doesn't mean ASEAN cannot attract fund because we have a great growth story, and with a great growth story, you can get over that challenge. But we have to understand the global dry powder for investment has gone down significantly. The second blind spot is the talent. We have a lot of people in ASEAN market, but they're not necessarily talented. They're not necessarily skillful. They're not necessarily most productive talent. We have a lot of people, but not necessarily most productive tech talent. So that's the issue for us. If we want to grow fintech market, the central bank and the the government agencies have to focus on the talent development of a country. If they are not focused on the talent side, I think on a long run, you'll face a significant crisis when it comes to the fintech market. And for every policymaker, that's the most significant priority work to focus on the talent development of a country. The third blind spot are the regulations themselves. Why do I say that? Because before this, regulators were a little more ignorant about the impact of fintech. Now they're getting far more knowledgeable about this space. And when regulators get knowledgeable, they start putting policies not to the best interest of the fintech, who tend to arbitrage lack of regulation. So when regulators will put regulation as the regulator bank, as the regulator incumbent, the fintech advantage of arbitraging lack of regulation will go away, which means as an industry, you have to start putting a lot of capital resources behind compliance. So watch out for that blind spot, because regulators are going to regulate fintech more rigorously. They're going to focus on data protection. They're going to focus on privacy, which means you as a startup or a fintech have to start worrying about those things. You cannot say that I have a great idea and I have a great technology, I'm okay. You got to also be a great company following good compliance. And regulators are now far more proactive than ever. The fourth is the G2G alignment, government to government alignment. Globally, almost 90% of fintech have only succeeded in the domestic market. The reason they couldn't succeed because whatever product they built for the domestic market didn't work when they exported that product to the other market. Now, and that's where I think the G2G alignment comes as a big blind spot, because what works for your country will not work for other country. So there's a necessary, I would say, a kind, which I think, if I heard correctly to the first half of the session, there's a desire to bring the ASEAN market together to have some kind of government-to-government alignment, so that when you do multiple country deployment, you will not face that blind spot. But I have seen in my last 7 years how great product in a great market collapses in a new market because there's a lack of alignment between the governments of those two countries where they're operating, or multiple countries. And plus, many countries have a strategic national interest not to facilitate such growth. And the last blind spot, and this perhaps which all of you will understand, fintech historically started from arbitraging lack of public infrastructure. And that's the reason why I want you to go back to the previous slide. Let's see. Oh, sorry. Let's see. Okay, now it's going back. How do I go back? Yeah, back. Okay. One more. Stay here. So if you look at this slide, there's a 45% concentration risk of fintech in ASEAN market. Why it is like that? Because the payment rails of many countries are not mature, doesn't exist. When there is a lack of public infrastructure, fintechs tend to do very well because they take advantage of the lack of infrastructure. That is going to go away. And that's my point when I talk about the last point, narrowing of infrastructure inefficiencies, because you will see countries are putting public infrastructure for payments, data, IDs, also providing common data gateway to access data from different sources. The national data, many countries have come with a national data strategy for data economy. As they put public infrastructure for digital economy, your ability to arbitrage lack of inefficiency for your business value will go down. That will be a blind spot. So these are the 5 blind spots, keeping in mind the multi-crisis we see globally, which can cause you not to grow or cause you to see some stumbling block in your own aspiration. Now, going forward again, to me, the golden era of fintech has yet to come. Why? Because there are some huge opportunity to tap into. The first one is the tokenization. And here I don't mean crypto, to be clear, cryptocurrencies or those highly speculative assets. What I meant here, that the world is shifting in many markets to a new form of ownership, whether it is an asset or it is money. And that new form of ownership is what you call as tokenization, a piece of program which defines that you own that asset. And that piece of program is a token which gets into a network and becomes a tradable asset. The future of digital economy is now heading to a tokenized economy. And there are already evidence of many market, especially the intangible market like entertainment industry, gaming industry, moving into tokenization market. So if you are a fintech and you know how to play this market well, that's a huge opportunity out there. The second 5 key way forward is to look at how do you take advantage of the new internet? Because this internet which is getting created is not an internet where you simply send information back and forth. It is an internet where you can also transfer value. What it means? Today, if you think about it, today when I buy an asset, the process of ownership of that asset and the process of transferring the payment for the asset is a 2 different transactions. In this world of DLT, the new internet, it will be a single transaction, which means when I transfer the asset to somebody, at that point, I'm also doing a payment, what you call as atomic settlement. A single transaction allows you to pay and also take ownership of the transaction. That can only happen in this new internet. So the second opportunity way forward for fintechs to reconfigure and see how the business model can change. The third element on the way forward is the rise of B2B. And I don't want to mess up with the slide. If you remember the slide, of all the growth market of the 7% growth in ASEAN, Singapore had the largest growth on fintech investment globally year over year. The reason behind why Singapore is extremely successful, because 80% of Singapore's fintech are in the business of B2B. They're the business of helping banks to digitize faster or helping insurance company to digitize faster. That is called B2B fintech. And Singapore, for last 6-7 years, have disproportionately focused on creating fintechs who are B2B because they help financial sector to digitize faster. They help businesses to digitize faster. That is the growth space. So if you are looking for an alternate growth strategy, non-consumer growth strategy, you must watch out for that B2B direction of your fintech. The fourth element is around digital bank themselves. Last week at the Singapore FinTech Festival, we invited all ASEAN digital bank CEOs to talk about path to profitability. Because globally, almost 95% of digital bank are unprofitable. They're not making money. And you cannot make money by just lending. That is already established. You cannot make money by just paying, by doing a payment service. So if you are imagining a digital bank which will only do lending and payment, forget about profitability in long run. You got to think about a much more expansive, comprehensive financial services offering wealth product, savings product, insurance distributor, pension plan distributor, or an investment product distributor. You got to be more expansive. You got to bring down your cost structures dramatically. You got to extend your distribution system to low and middle income segment, which banks don't do a good job of. So if you want to truly compete as a digital bank, you have to reimagine the definition of digital bank for the future. And the last space, which perhaps to me is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. If Singapore, for me, if I have to bet for Singapore's next 10 years, I'll bet all my fintechs to go and focus on ESG fintech. That's the multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. Why I'm sharing with you this particular opportunity? Because fintech is the only sector globally today whose existing technology stack and architecture are designed to be flipped to support the ESG market. What is ESG market? The market needs three key technology: how to process data efficiently, how to distribute the insights you are creating of data to the banks so they can comply to the disclosure requirement of ESG for 2050 goals, and the third is to how to create new business model or financial product which has got ESG as part of the design of the product. And fintechs by design, the fintech we know today, have the technology architecture already invested to support that multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. So if one thing we are very excited and we believe that's the golden era of fintech is that every fintech I know today will morph themselves to be the ESG fintech of future. So these are the 5 key way forward, and we are still yet to get to the golden era of fintech, despite the headwinds we see today. My last slide is, and I use this my concluding request. I think we've got to start thinking about talent seriously. And I have seen last 7 years, public policy officials, universities, banks have talked about it, but the actual outcome is not up to the mark. And we as a region should be very welcoming to global talent. I don't think global talent look to ASEAN as the destination of choice to work. We've got to think very hard how to make ASEAN a welcoming place for global talent. This is my first ask. The second, we need a far more deeper integration in this market. We are too fragmented. Despite all the ASEAN meetings happens every year, our fragmentation has not been solved. It's still an extremely fragmented market, which is not helping us. Third, we have not solved the unbanked population. Why? Fintechs were supposed to solve it. They have not solved it. What fintechs did, they went after the same market which banks are also serving. The interest rates are high. They're taking collateral-based lending, same old thing. So fintechs have not really solved the promise they came in to solve the unbanked population's problem. We still have a 40 to 30% of unbanked population in this market. When I say unbanked, it's not having a bank account, real banking. That's what we need. And particularly the fourth item, we have been selling them lending product, payment product. The real product which this market need also are the two, insurance and the pension product, because these are risk product. Asia also is going to be a home for a aging population with no risk coverage. We'll have the largest population who are retiring with no coverage. Is going to be a human demographic disaster in ASEAN market if you don't solve the insurance and the pension problem for long age issues. And last, which I have repeated, collectively ASEAN should think about the ASEAN FinTech society, FinTech ecosystem. How do we change ourselves to be the ESG FinTech of future? Because not only we can provide great technology and service, we can also solve an existential crisis of the world, is how do we survive the changing environment and the global crisis coming out of the sustainability part. So with this 5 ask for the FinTech society, the FinTech ecosystem of Cambodia, I conclude my remark. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Samnendo Mohanty, Chief FinTech Officer of the Monetary Authority of Singapore, for your insightful presentation. For the second presentation, join me welcome our second honorable speaker, Mr. Thomas Pokhony, Board Secretary General, Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, to deliver his presentation on Cambodia FinTech landscape. All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Thomas Pokhony.
Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to sit in front of you, at least virtually, at Cambodian FinTech stage of Cambodia Tech Expo. That includes our very own Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology and CamTech, powered by Prudential. Hosted and virtually and in person from Cambodia during the auspicious. Good afternoon, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is an honor to sit in front of you, at least virtually, at Cambodian FinTech stage of Cambodia Tech Expo. That includes our very own Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology and CamTech, powered by Prudential. Hosted and virtually and in person from Cambodia during the auspicious occasion of ASEAN Summit 2022. My name is Thomas Pokorny and I'm one of the board members of CAFT, as well as I'm active member of corporate and startup sector in the region. And that is one of the reasons I cannot be there with you personally, because I'm dialing from Korea, which is, by the way, after 15 years of me living in countries with average temperature of 25 degrees centigrade plus, the first time I'm in ranges around zero. So let's take a positive out of it. And let me just say, I won't be boring you with long speeches today because I'm still freezing. Many of you have already heard many of things I'll be recapping today. And I also wanted to keep this remark rather conversational in true spirit of FinTech, looking both at what we have, but also and mainly where we are headed and what we need in Cambodia to continue to be one of the driving members of ASEAN FinTech ecosystem. Before I begin, I must acknowledge our good friends and partners from Mekong Strategy Partners, whose data and market research have always been pivotal to what information we work with. Ladies and gentlemen, CAF stands for collaboration, advocacy, facilitation, and teaching. And I believe that with over 100 members that we have amassed in very short, lean, and battle-hardened COVID times since 2020 onward, we have proven that Cambodia really stand tall and can stand tall if we embrace the values that compose our name. When we close our eyes and you see Cambodia, especially when you are from abroad, many of you will either see perhaps civil war-torn country that is recovering, or you will see tourism hub that is attractive largely for pool of predominantly Chinese customers, especially due to its gaming and gambling activities. And if you are from financial sector, maybe you would see higher risk real estate country. But if you would take a closer look, you would see much more than just a developing country. Indeed, we do have our challenges, but we are also pioneering in many fronts and having such a live private-public collaboration between regulators and commercial sectors that innovation has been and continues to be at forefront of activities of many established companies as well as startups. Cambodia has unlocked in past decades vast amount of opportunities, tapping into small but young, dynamically evolving, growing economy that's leapfrogging over many traditional trends, straight to its digital peers. But don't take my word for it. Just have a look at digital landscape and startup landscape you see on the screen in front of you. And with over 300 startups, number that is getting considerably higher in post-COVID times from across multiple sectors. And one may wonder, such as diversity in such a small place, what is the cost of it? There are few, I cannot possibly name it all, but being a fintech entrepreneur by heart, I must say that Cambodian fintech is one of those binding fabrics across this diversity. The very mentioned collaboration between regulators and private sector, our sector is rather flexible regulatory oversight that is at times cause for others to wonder if we are too free, if is actually one of the drivers we can see spurring the race of fintech and its offbeats reaching to banking, credit assessment, lending, investments, payments, healthcare, agriculture, e-commerce, and more. As every business comes down to question of finance, Having stable but also innovative financial ecosystem is pivotal to developing economies. The tipping point we are at, considering the World Bank and BCG analysis, define as 10 to 20% of digital payments penetration in the country, means actually 80% penetration in urban areas for us, for Cambodia. And it's inching closer and closer, especially to the breaking point, especially due to the factors such as background, Cambodian central blockchain financial movement ecosystem, with currently 7.9 million people participating. And this is presenting us with promise. It's presenting us with promise for more inclusive Cambodia and Cambodia connected to the rest of the ASEAN ecosystem. And that would not be possible without Cambodian FinTech, despite its very many challenges and us growing at unprecedented stage. Cambodian digital sector uh, and Cambodian fintech would not be gaining such grounds this quickly if we have omitted the Cambodian accelerating MSMEs ecosystem that comprises of majority of Cambodian economy, and its adoption of digital solutions is pivotal for fintech penetration in rural areas, which again is composition of the majority of Cambodian demographics. Let's talk a little bit about standardization of QR. Standardization QR is known, for example, from Thailand and Singapore, was seen as one of the main factors of adoption of digital payments across micro, small, medium enterprises, presenting ease of payments acceptance and payments operations across both those enterprises as well as consumer. However, the standardization of QR would not be possible. It was just an opening idea, and it would not be possible without National Bank of Cambodia's developed prior mentioned blockchain system, equivalent to at least similar to ideas of other central banking digital currencies that enables Cambodian domestic financial and non-financial ecosystem to coexist automatically without competition, without individual financial houses setting up their standards, rapidly increasing financial inclusion rate, and also opening possibilities for international controlled, regulated, and safe financial movement, operating a better environment for consumer and perhaps sooner or later for businesses as well. If I'm asked what are the risks in fintech ecosystem in Cambodia, I would have to point out to double-edged sword, which is merger and acquisitions. Cambodian fintech sector is growing, and without such growing competition, innovation would not be as adamant as it is. On the other hand, local players, local opportunities, as we are going to go through already started consolidation, which will be needed for market to mature, we will need a mature and guiding helping hand to walk both new and established players in the tricky market that you have witnessed in other countries before, but which is something new for Cambodia. Going forward, looking forward, Cambodia will present to its domestic players as well as international onlookers and participants is the realization that in current economic downturn, we will need to find more internal investment voices rather than rely purely on external financing. But seeing the trade-off might bring in exchange many positive things, such as opportunities exploring crypto and DeFi sectors, savings, insurtech, continuous advancement of digital payments. And when you look at it this way, the outlook is no longer as grim. It is often when country sees economic decline or on international scene, if it is able to turn internally and find opportunities through advancement and innovation, our leapfrog potential will not be hindered, but can actually grow. As promised, I will not be boring you long and too much with details you already know. So allow me just to finalize my remarks by highlighting the wide range of opportunities fintech and associated sectors presents for both domestic and international partnerships. Mobile payments are plenty, but innovation is lacking. Cambodia needs more innovative international connected solutions, fighting actively and via regulated approaches with our current rails placement. Blockchain is not just about crypto. Cambodia has recently launched Near Foundation and others are brewing to spearhead the opportunity for Cambodian sectors to utilize blockchain technology and to become equal partner to this growing global trend of Web 3.0, which Cambodia is unusually and uncharacteristic to its true nature of rapid advancement, falling behind. Either utilization of crypto, decentralized finance, insurtech, saving solutions, and others, Cambodia has much to offer. Perhaps not due to its vast experience in the sector, but due to its regulatory sandbox-like mindset and willingness to experiment and grow, and due to its untapped potential with merely any competition. Cambodia is being driven by presence of multiple private accelerator programs such as 500 Global, Impact Hub, Startup Factory, and others, to name a few, as well as initiatives from public sectors such as Kama Enterprise, Tejo Startup, and more. To widen its fintech focus and to start tapping into other fintech and digital areas, including proptech, including e-commerce, agri-tech, health tech, and more. Presenting similarly to prior mentioned opportunities, the unparalleled sector with merely any competition, requiring market education, that's true, but also representing vast opportunity disproportionately larger to the country's population size. It is never only roses and blue skies. And let's acknowledge Cambodian challenges. Acknowledging Cambodian's commoditization of payments is one of those. And impact of this commoditization on unnaturally increasing fintech mergers and acquisition is critical in order for international and domestic communities to be able to readily provide helping hand and opportunities for those existing players to strategically pivot. Cambodia's unclear position, or rather cautious position towards crypto and blockchain, also requires international and domestic dialogue. Do not let Cambodia and Cambodian fintech to fall behind on contrary, to not let Cambodia become unregulated haven of mischief. When it comes to other topics, lists could go on, and to just name a few, we could talk about cloud computing, P2P lending, decentralization, regulatory ease and clarity, and others. And this one should not be taken as a complaint, but as a short shout for help to turn these challenges into opportunities. When we're talking about Cambodia and Cambodian fintech, we cannot just talk about fintech and how everything is positive. Education, tech upskilling, and is one of the core hindrances in the market. Data sharing frameworks need improvement, significant lack of angel investment capital, as well as private and micro and small medium enterprises focus direct impact investments. As well as focus of investments towards long-term sectors, including the mentioned healthcare and education, both in traditional sense, but also in sense of digital segmentation and potential, showcases the Cambodian need for international collaboration and international investments. Need that we see more and more, acknowledging our potential, but realizing we cannot do it alone. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, let it be. So be the negative voices and occasional haziness in outlook to where we stand. Cambodia innovates because Cambodia and Cambodian fintech are brave. Cambodia grows because we are more an entrepreneurs than just as regulators and commercial entities. We are one developing family. And then despite its mishaps, has cohesion and potential to reach very new heights every single day. We still have a long way to go, but on behalf of Cambodian fintech scene, I would want to appeal to you. We need your help to grow, help to find right balance, help to become inclusive ASEAN wise. But we do not take it for granted. We do not take that help for granted. Supporting Cambodia supports dual currency ASEAN connective ecosystem that can become a sandbox and digital hub of Mekong region to connecting this part of the world with ASEAN and through ASEAN beyond. So one such initiative, just to mention one few, fulfillment of the dream, is I would hope the recent known MOU signing where CAFT and Cambodian sector has begun to live its long-term dream, where Cambodia and other ASEAN players establish an alliance, the movement of ASEAN FinTech, that will connect Cambodia and other like-minded growing fintech ecosystem in ASEAN with the rest of the world. I would like to thank you for your time today, and I wish you to enjoy the ASEAN Summit, the Cambodia Tech Expo, and your weekend ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas Pokorny, Board Secretary General of Cambodian Association of Finance and Technology, for your insightful presentation. For the next presentation, it is my pleasure to welcome our third honorable speaker, His Excellency Dr. Tang Nguyen Lee, Executive Director of the Cho Startup Center, to deliver his presentation on draft fintech development in Cambodia. All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency Dr. Tang Nguyen Lee.
Yeah. A very good afternoon, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to do a presentation about the draft Cambodian fintech development policy. The talk previously, Mr. Mohanty has already mentioned about the landscape of the fintech in ASEAN, and also Mr. Pokorny also mentions about the current development of the fintechs as well as startup ecosystem in Cambodia, and also draw a conclusion for the ASEAN working together as well. In those two talks, you can see there are a number of challenges, opportunity, and there are also a new keyword that you might finding about the digital payments, banking, blockchain, Web 3.0, decentralized finance or DeFi, InsurTech, PropTech. All of these things are in a subcategory of the fintechs. So in this talk, I would like to highlight how the government has sought to implement the policy to support this fintech ecosystem even more better. Next, please. Yeah. The talk of the day, I would like to start from the context, a general context, and then the current development. Just would like to add on to what Thomas has just mentioned. And later on, I will focus on the policy frameworks and followed by the conclusion. As you might know that the technology has advanced so fast. I mean, it fastest among the rest of the technology that has been adopted by the humans. For example, in agriculture, it takes around 8,000 years in order to reach 25% of the population. Using the electronics, the light bulb, it takes more than 100 years to reach the 25% of the population. But the internet, the mobile phone, it just takes around 20 years to reach 25% of the population. So it means it rapid and it accelerates very fast in the human history. And this also shaped the way that provide more emerging new business model, including the fintech as well. And the fintech in general have a trend that also support the digital economy. It is for the global, the region, and also happen to the case of the Cambodia as well. The fintech in Cambodia, if you are talk to most of the Cambodian people, they may refer to the mobile payments, the digital banking, so forth and so on. But there are two main pillars that we need to consider in the current context of Cambodia. For the banking side, we can see according to the report from the National Bank of Cambodia, we have nearly 700 million transactions has been made via the transfer, also the payment in 2021, which accumulated as a volume nearly 200 billion US dollar. It's a lot. It's even more than our GDP. So we can see that the progressive of the fintechs in the bank sector, it's so tremendous. And it's also thanks to the acceleration partly of the COVID pandemic as well that allow us to use the payment even more than before. But on the non-bank side, there are several fintech activity that we need to consider as well, especially the insurtechs. The insurtech that coming from the insurance sectors. From this chart, that you can see that although it's quite small, but it still keep increasing, and it already contribute to 1.1% already to the GDP. So hopefully that maybe by 2025, it will be reached by 5.5% that already been claimed by the insurance community as well. So hopefully that there will be another big fintech activity that we will see along the side with the banking as well. So in order to understand what fintech is, I mean, the audience sitting in this stage, I don't think that you do not know at all about the fintech. You're already aware of these things. But understanding a common definition would lead us to know what we thought, especially from the government perspective. There are several definitions, and there is no one commonly agreed definition, not in Cambodia, but also the rest of the world as well. However, through the digital economy and society policy framework, we define fintechs as a technology and innovation in financial sectors, banking and non-banking, established to improve the use, delivery, and access to financial services broadly and inclusively. So this is the definition that adopted by the government, I would say. So from this definition, we can see that there are a numbers of fintech activity that we can adopt the model from the Cambridge University that you can see from this chart. The inner core is a group of the fintech activity, and on the subsequent chart is represent about the subgroup, and the last one is about the activity. So you can see from this chart that there are a lot of variety of the fintech activity that we can tackle. Although now we may focus on payments, on banking, on insurtech, on proptech, but there are more opportunities to catch. So I would like to convey that message to the audience so that if you would like to tackle from a different angle, you may refer to this chart for the fintech development as well. The ecosystem in fintech, it just would like to recap what Thomas has just mentioned, but this is what we have at the moment. About the payments, the lending, the capital rising, the regulator, supporting facility, digital enabler that we have Bakong, we have CamDX, and also the blockchain that has been already addressed by the two previous speakers as well, and we also have one in Cambodia too. And also we have the international payment network like Visa, MasterCard, or UPI, just to name a few. Go back, please. Yeah. No. Yeah. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So from the fintech perspective, in Cambodia, we have two main regulators to support this fintech activity. On the bank side, we have the National Bank of Cambodia. And on the non-bank side, we have the non-bank financial service authority who manage the non-bank side. And under that, there are around 6 regulators that have a specific focus on regulating the fintech activity that related to the non-bank. However, you can see there are some cost-cutting concern or cost-cutting activity, and also a new emerging trends based on the blockchain technology. We call it decentralized finance, or DeFi for short, because of this is new emerging. So there is no clear cut between the two regulators yet. That's why we put it in between so that it can connect to one another. And also maybe it is possible that it can be applicable to develop a sandbox to provide a playground for the new fintech activity that are not belong to the bank and also not belong to the non-bank as well. So, to let you know about the DeFi a little bit, because the two previous speakers, as I mentioned, they also mentioned about the Web 3.0, the blockchain. So what is the DeFi anyway? Actually, DeFi stands for decentralized finance, and it perhaps the definition that we as the working group to draft the policy who can offer, it is something like this. It is a provision of financial services utilize blockchain and digital assets to operate financial transaction without intermediary. So there are 3 main elements in this definition. The first one must be blockchain technology. The second thing is the digital asset. Digital asset here refer to a tokenization that has been mentioned previously as well. It's about the crypto, it's about the NFT and other tokenization that run on the blockchain and smart contract, so that we allow them to be transferred to distributed more easily. And the last part is No without intermediary is also another keyword to complement with this DeFi as well. So if application and fintech activity that fall into this category, we consider it as a DeFi. And these are the structures of it on the left-hand side, the blockchain, the digital asset, and the smart contract that run on the blockchain infrastructures. And it will be supported by the pillar like regulation or maybe the sandbox that where we allow the fintech activity related to the DeFi can be tested and also can be launched on a control group to be checked. It first because it can be publicly launched to the public customer. I would like to raise some challenges very similar to what Mr. Mohanty had just mentioned as well. It is about the regulations. It's about the lack of proportionality, meaning that the current licensing is not adaptable. I mean, the large company, the corporate, and also the startup need to apply for the same license, although the risks are completely different. So there should be, how can I say, an adaptable licensing that should be regulated based on the risk that associated with those companies. And the digital enabler, which is referred to the infrastructure for supporting the fintechs. Now we have Bakong on the payment interoperability. We have CamDX on the data exchange. But we still need more. We need digital ID, or perhaps, if not digital ID, we need a more robust eKYC that can be utilized nationwide. We need a RegTech, a SupTech, so forth and so on. So these are the digital enablers that we need to. I did not mention about the root CA or maybe public key infrastructure to support the digital signature. This is also the fundamental digital enabler to allow the trust in the digital transactions in the fintech activity. And the talent, of course, on the number 4, it is really everywhere. Even Singapore more developed than us, but still face some talent. So Cambodia need to have a very concrete strategy roadmap in order to capitalize the local talent and also bring the international talent to Cambodia as well. And the last is about the inequality between the subsectors of the fintech. We have more mature in the banking side and less mature on the non-banking side. And this is not that bad, not that challenge, but if we would like to see it as a whole picture of the ecosystem, it should have somehow link together, integrate together, or perhaps share some common infrastructure as well. So, and the fintechs, the fintech development, the policy of the fintech development is nothing new, but it's based on the agenda of the royal government of Cambodia that has been mentioned clearly in the fintech development roadmap by National Bank of Cambodia, also mentions in the digital economy and society policy framework, digital government policy, the Cambodia STI roadmap, as well as the COVID, the strategic policy to live with the COVID as well. So these are the things that need that has been mentioned. So that is why we need to focus and we need to join hands all together in order to create the fintech development in Cambodia to the next level. So now I would like to see the framework as well as the structures that what we sought. It is not finalized yet, it's still in draft, but it is what we sought that I can share you, the latest one. For the vision, we would like to lead Cambodia to become a competitive country in development fintech activities, promoting fintechs to be the main growth driver for digital economy with innovation, inclusion, and financial stability. And the objective is to create a vibrant ecosystem so that we can allow more fintech activity to graduate it from this ecosystem. The approach, the policy design, we will stick to the main thing. First one is to promote the financial inclusion. The second thing is to balance the financial stability. But of course, we need to provide a window for innovation in this financial sector as well. And I would like to have a side note on the top that we do not aim to be the leader in the region as a fintech country, because I don't think that we can race to Singapore, for example. But at least we would like to compare to benchmark with ourselves what we are talking today. And within the next 3 years and the next 5 years, how can we accelerate the fintech ecosystem in Cambodia to the next level? So the approach to design this policy is to adopt, adapt, and innovate further. Adopt in the sense that we would like to see the international best practice. We crowdsourcing on the Singapore experience, on Malaysia, Indonesia, to see how we can adapt those models to our to fit our context. And when it is fit, we can find a room to innovate more. So this is the approach to design this policy. So based on this approach, we adopt the Ehrentraut model to represent the fintech development as a fintech tree. And I would like to emphasize that the fintech roadmap of NBC also follow this model as well. So in order to make the synergy more coherent, we also use the same model. So this Ehrentraut divided the fintech development into 3 main parts. The root represent the policy enablers, that namely like digital ID, open banking, data protections, things like this. And the trunk represent the enabling technology, the blockchain, machine learning, AI, natural language processing. Internet of Things is also the part of the trunk or the enabling technology as well. And once we have these two more really robust, hopefully that we can find a blossom fintech activity that have many branches. It depends on the activity themselves. So the brand can be more brands or less brand. It depends on the ecosystem, and it depends on the trunk, and it depends on the root as well. And because of this, we adapt to the same thing, but we add one more, because the left model missing the soy, and we consider the soy is a policy enabler, which is also important because it will provide nutrition to make the fintech tree grow. So apart from the 3 that we adapt from the Ehrentraut model, we just add the policy enabler. So through this, we have this full flags of, or at least a macro pictures of the draft fintech policy framework, that we have the policy enabler, and you can see on the bubble at the bottom, like API governance, data standard, data protection framework, cybersecurity, interoperability, regulatory sandbox, things like this. We refer to the policy enabler. And for the digital enabler, we refer to data exchange, payment exchange, cross-border exchange, digital ID, eKYC, root CA, RegTech, and SupTech, so forth and so on. So once we all having this, with the trunk, the enabling technology like API, cloud technology, blockchain, machine learning, hopefully that we can see a more mature of the fintech brands, like fintech activity, the bank, the non-bank, as well as the DeFi, the decentralized finance as well. So this is how we draw and how we conceptualize from the policy framework perspective, that based on the current situation, and also we adopt from the international best practice to be applicable for the Cambodian context. So these are the strategic thrusts for 4. I would like not to repeat because it will be the same. The policy enabler represent the soil, digital enabler represent the root of the tree, enabling technology represent the trunks, and the fintech activity represented by the branches of the tree. So the more brands, the more mature of the fintech ecosystem. So, so far I have talked about the 3, the policy enabler, digital enabler, and the enabling technology, but not so much on the activity. So now we can see that based on the current regulatory perspective and based on what we have at the moment, we can see that these two banking and non-banking. For the banking side, now we have three main operations already: the payment, the lending, and the saving, which is already there. But perhaps we should consider the digital and open banking so that Mr. Mohanty already mentioned that digital banking, 95% of the world digital banking at the moment is not profitable. But it can be provide a good expansion for financial inclusion. So that is why we put it here, so that we can consider how can we incorporate the bank together in a way that it is open, and also in a way that it can be transformed to a completely digital, to a pure digital. And on top of that, not quite sure how we can go, but at least based on the international best practice, tokenization, tokenomic model that based on the cryptocurrency and digital asset are the new trend. Although there is no, how can I say, not so many countries regulated on these things yet, but at least it is a trend right now. You can see from a public cryptocurrency, from a stablecoin perspective, but those things are really high risk, especially concerning the financial literacy in Cambodia. So that is why central bank digital currency, perhaps it can remedy, on the one hand side, it can minimize the risk because it will be regulated by the central bank. But on the other hand, it still can promote the innovation on the Web 3.0, on the DeFi, so forth and so on. For the non-bank, we have a numbers of activity that based on the current regulation, the insure tax, the trust tax, the social protection tax, the security exchange is also applicable to there as well. And also, of course, the DeFi that provide the decentralized apps, the DeFi app, and the tokenomic application as well. So this is still in draft, not yet finalized yet, but hopefully that it will not change much in the final policy framework that should be released by early next year. So this is the timeline that I would like to give you a little bit, that this policy has been developed almost a year right now. It starts from getting a working group in February this year. And we have a kick-off meeting and also a consultation workshop. Some of you already joined in April workshop that to launch the collective the input, to collect the input from the stakeholders. And we run the consultation workshop on the insurance sector as well. We also run the consultation workshop with the banking side. At the time, NBC also co-organized with us. And now we have the FinTech stage. And the next plan would be run another consultation workshop on the DeFi, on the blockchain, that we focus in purely on the Web 3.0, the blockchain, the tokenomic, the tokenization, as well as the smart contract in the next workshop. And hopefully that we can have the first draft in the first quarters of 2023 to let the government checks and endorse this policy. So to conclude this presentation, I would like to emphasize that FinTech is very progressive well in Cambodia at the moment. As you can see, the presentation that I showed earlier, and also by Thomas Poconi. But however, there are still major challenges, because if we would like to let the FinTechs to be a main growth driver of the digital economy, we need to work on a little bit. So that is why the policy intervention is really crucial in this part. So policy, hopefully that it can be unlock the FinTech potential to even better, and also to address that is the trend, the global trend, the regional trend that has been mentioned by a conclusion request from Mr. Mohanty in the first presentation. And policy framework has been extensively discussed, and this one is also, we will collect some more information on that, and hopefully that you will provide more input in order to adjust this FinTech policy to suit to the ecosystem as a whole. And FinTech stage is a good place to get more input. Policy framework covers different aspects from the different stakeholder inside the ecosystem. So the next big thing, we will draft it into a formal policy, and then we will call for a final consultation later on. So my presentation is about the draft Cambodian FinTech development policy end by here. And thank you very much for attending. I hope that you will enjoy the FinTech stage and also the rest of the Cambodia Tech Expo 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency Dr. Tang Woon Lee, Executive Director of the Joe Startup Center, for your insightful presentation. All Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before closing today's event, I would like to share with you all the key activities that have been happening in day one of FinTech stage of CTX 2022. In today's remarkable event, we have 4 welcome remarks, followed with 1 collaborative remark and 1 opening remarks by His Excellency Wongse Visot, Minister attached to the Prime Minister and Permanent Secretary of State of the Ministry of Economy and Finance. Following the 3 presentations, first on ASEAN FinTech development, second on Cambodia FinTech landscape, and lastly, the presentation on draft FinTech development in Cambodia. On behalf of the event organizers, I would like to sincerely thank His Excellency and distinguished guests for your meaningful welcome, collaborative, and opening remarks. I would also like to extend my sincere thanks to the honorable guest speaker for giving the insightful presentation. I am Ten Yanot. I would like to announce that Day 1 FinTech stage of CTX 2022 has come to an end. On behalf of the event organizers, I would like to extend my sincere and deep gratitude to all Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, who are representative of relevant ministry, development partners, banks, microfinance institution, insurance company association, FinTech company, startup, and the public who had participated physically here and through the live stream on Facebook and Telegram channels for taking the valuable time to participate in today's event. We look forward to seeing you on day 2 at the FinTech stage of CTX 2022. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.